And the channel, we're back at it with another best of year-end countdown, and this time we're counting down my top 5 NECA figures of 2024.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Cowboy Kyle here, back again with another best of 2024 countdown, and in today's video we're counting down my top 5 NECA Ultimate Editions of 2024, and I will say this does not count Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. I did a separate Turtles countdown video. This is for everything else under the sun NECA related. It could be Toonie Terrors, it could be Ultimates, it could be anything NECA does produce. And you guys know me and a lot of others out there, long-time supporters of the NECA brand, be it Ninja Turtles or be their music element figures, horror-related figures, and all things under the sun. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of pulp culture stuff from NECA over the years. And I would say as a whole this year, maybe a bit of a down year compared to NECA in prior years. As we nearing the end of 2024, a lot of snafus on shipping, creating a lot of frustrations, some bad publicity for NECA. I feel like NECA would probably like to forget all that stuff and move into 2025, hopefully on a happier note. But this year, we got a few horror-related items, but it felt like less than prior years. And maybe I'm just not hip or interested in some of the stuff they came out with. For whatever reason, I went back and forth between a top 10 and a top 5, and I ended up settling on a top 5 for this year, and that's where we're going to start it off. And of course, we're going to do this countdown like we do all the other countdowns on this YouTube channel. We're going to start at number 5, work our way to number 1, with number 1 being the best NECA Ultimate figure of 2024. As usual, this is my list. 100% right. It's my list. How could it not be? But your list can be 100% right as well. Stick your top 5, put them in order, put it in the comments down below. And without further ado, let's get after it. Let's kick off the countdown at number 5. We begin the countdown, of course, at number 5. And the number 5 NECA figure for me this year is a bit of a sleeper one. This one might not be on everybody's list, and I'm guessing not everybody picked this one up. I've only seen this on 2 occasions out of my fig hunts. Cheap plug for my fig hunt videos every single Friday, and occasionally more often than that. But I've only seen this one twice out there, and I got a feeling a lot of people picked up the first rendition of this character and said, I don't need the second one. However, this second one adds a little extra pizzazz. It's got all the charm and fun of the first one with extra accessories and a little different look for the character in the second one. Who are we talking about? Well, we're talking about Nosferatu, a little black and white second edition here. Got the full-on horse whip, of course, to represent the time he was driving the horse and buggy, picking up, of course. You guys seen the movie, I'm sure, by now. Definitely a cool, different version, and I don't think we're going to get any more Nosferatu Ultimates, and I think that was a pretty good yin and yang between the first one, standard, regular edition, and the second one with the more deluxe accessories, the hat, the whip, the extra coat, cloak, whatever you want to call it, cape maybe. Just a very cool figure, and like I said, a sleeper, and one that's probably not going to be on a lot of people's lists this year. But for me, it just really did stand out. It's one of those ones that's haunted me like a vampire, I guess, all this time since I've unboxed it. And that's why he's coming in at number 5 in the best of 2024 NECA countdown. Next up, we're at number 4 in the NECA countdown, and this one just squeaked in under the countdown radar as it almost is the end of 2024, and I just unboxed this one the other day. Video could be up on the channel or maybe to come, depending on where this video ends up landing. But what's number 4? Well, it's from the Iron Maiden 2-pack. We got Senjutsu Eddie, but the one that's on the countdown here at number 4, Somewhere in Time Eddie. And what can I say about Iron Maiden? Longtime viewers of the channel know my love for the mighty Iron Maiden. Seen him so many times in concert, stared at the album covers, listened to the albums, you name it. I'm a Maiden guy, so I knew this would be playing a lot of hits here for me. I like the Senjutsu Eddie, but as you'll see in that review, it hasn't really grown on me as a Somewhere in Time Eddie would have, as this one's been around for decades. That's the brand new shiny Eddie. Not quite to the standards of this one yet, but maybe, ask me in 30 years, maybe I'll say that one's just as good. Probably not, but this is an iconic centerpiece of a collection if you're an Iron Maiden fan. A lot of people put Somewhere in Time up there at the top of their albums for Iron Maiden. It's right up there with Peace of Mind for me. Gosh, Number of the Beast is good as well. Killers, Iron Maiden, there's so many good ones over the years, but it is a great, great figure, and I'm happy that we got this, as we've had it before from NECA. This time we got the full-on articulation of a figure here, and I'm here for more reruns of some of these Eddie figures from NECA in the future. Would love to see some of those redone. We'll see what happens, but this one really can't be beat. Be it you put this in your horror collection, your sci-fi collection, your Iron Maiden collection, your heavy metal collection, or maybe you mix it up with some Marvel Legends or something like that. There's a lot of homes for this Eddie, and it is a very, very fun figure coming in at number 4. We're at the halfway point of the countdown. You got your list together. Put it in the comments down below. And as usual, put it in order. That's the hard part. That is the fun part. And I got to be honest, the final 3 on here, very close. You asked me from 6 months. They may even switch around a little bit, as these are 3 of the best figures of all figures in 2024. Really, really do love these final 3. But somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to be second. Somebody's got to be third. And as of right now, this is going to be my list. Who's coming in at number 3? Well, some people are about Living After Midnight. Some are about London After Midnight. And that's what we got here with the Professor Burke. And of course, lost film, lost media. This is London After Midnight. I have to wonder if people actually saw the movie or had a chance to be able to see the movie, if this one would fall in some rankings, fall in some history books. I think a lot of the charm about this one is that it's lost media, that nobody could see the movie. I think that's a lot of fun. And obviously, Lon Chaney, the Man of 1,000 Masks, all the different costumes over the years, there's a lot of love for this character. But I think part of it being lost media brings this one a little higher than maybe it would be if it wasn't lost media. But that being said, a fabulous, creepy, scary looking figure here, and one of those NECA figures that's been around but a little bit harder to find compared to the Universal Monsters and things like that. Maybe it's a little bit of a deep cut, maybe they made it in less quantities, which would make sense if you ask me. But man, oh man, a breathtaking figure with some of the best head sculpts, not just from NECA, but in action figures in 2024. A fabulous, fabulous figure. Can't recommend it strong enough. Professor Burke coming in at number 3. We keep rolling on in the countdown now at the number 2 selection, and this figure coming in the last couple of months, we'll call it fall time frame, so just squeaking under the radar once again. But man, oh man, I thought this one looked cool when I saw it at San Diego Comic-Con. Have to admit, even cooler in person, and one of those figures I'm tempted to buy multiples of. What are we talking about? Dad, cover your ears. I know you're listening somewhere. Todd, you too. Cover your ears, because from the Hammer films, we got Christopher Lee's Dracula. Now, I know my dad and others, maybe this isn't their Dracula, but man, oh man, it's not my Dracula either. Bela Lugosi will always be my Dracula, but there is a charm for the Hammer movies. There's no doubt about it. A little bit more gory, a little bit more blood, a little bit more 70s feeling for the majority of them. Not all of them, but the majority of them. But there is no denying the likeness, the amazing figure of Christopher Lee right here. Absolutely love this figure. Really breathtaking. And if you're a Dracula collector, a vampire collector, a NECA collector, a Hammer collector, a horror collector, this is one you got to have in your collection. Just absolutely amazing. Beautiful soft goods, beautiful heads. All the heads are amazing with this one. Extra hands, extra accessories, all the bells and whistles you could ever want with a Christopher Lee Hammer Dracula figure. Just absolutely amazing. Cannot wait to see Van Helsing in 2025. It'll be interesting if he makes our top 5 or top 10 countdown next year, if that is a thing. We'll see what happens then. But man, oh man, can't beat this one except for one. Who is the number 1 NECA figure of 2024 as voted by me? Stay tuned. We have hit the number 1 spot in my top 5 NECA countdown of 2024. Once again, get your list together, put it in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. I got videos every single day, but we're counting down the absolute best of 2024 in the action figure game. Love to have you a part of it, so make sure you do subscribe. But here we are at number 1. As I said earlier, 1, 2, and 3, very, very close, but had to go with this one, number 1. Easily nostalgia carries a lot of these things for me. Is it a character I'm familiar with? Is it a character I've known forever that I love? Yes, it is in number 1. And some of the other ones just don't have that nostalgia vibe. And this figure is just as good as the Christopher Lee and, of course, the Professor Burke, like I said. But the nostalgia aspect going back to my early childhood is what really brought this one to the top. And who is number 1? Well, of course, the star of the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, Vincent Price, the number 1 NECA figure of 2024. And one cool thing besides the nostalgia piece is all the accessories with this one, but also being able to represent Vincent Price in 3 different eras of his films. You got Old Man Vincent Price, which I've chosen to display on my shelf. You got Middle Years, and you got Early Years Vincent Price. So if you're just an early years guy, you got to head for that. You're a later years guy, you're a Ghost of Scooby-Doo guy, you got to head for that. There's so many options with this one, and a lot of times you get plain Jane suited figures like Vincent Price here. There's not a lot of options. It's just kind of there. This one, definitely different with the extra heads, all the accessories, the extra hands. There is a lot to like about this one. And if you're nostalgic for Vincent Price, a fabulous, fabulous figure here. Now, I don't know if I'll ever find a deal. I don't know, but I would really like to represent all 3 looks of Vincent Price in the future. So if I can track down some more Vincent Prices at least a reasonable price, I will pull that trigger. So I guess look to that in some figure hunts for 2025. We'll see what happens there. But this Vincent Price just narrowly edging out the competition this year for me as my number 1 NECA Ultimate figure of 2024, which lends the question, what is your number 1 figure for 2024? Be interested to hear your thoughts. Put it in the comments down below. Of course, put them in order. Once again, that's the hard part, but that is the fun part. Make sure you do check that out. And then, of course, don't forget, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads and Instagram. Now I'm on TikTok, so you can find me over there. Pro Wrestling Tees, search Kyle Peterson. And last but certainly not least, check out the Patreon for early access to all the videos between both of my YouTube channels. Giveaways, Q&As, you name it, it's all going down on the Patreon. And it truly is the best way to support this channel and all the content it does bring. So for the NECA Countdown 2024, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.